Welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely pumped to be your guide today as we explore a really massive shift happening right now in the software development lifecycle. Today, we're looking at a system specifically designed to tackle one of the biggest bottlenecks in tech, which is the manual, repetitive grind of writing and maintaining code. We're going to unpack exactly how an intelligent assistant called CodePilot AI is stepping in to automate the heavy lifting of daily coding.
But before we get deep into the tech, I want you to just honestly reflect for a second. How much of your day is actually spent writing new, innovative features? If you're a developer, well, you know the truth. A massive chunk of your day is just completely lost to routine chores instead of real, innovative coding.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. First, we'll look at the daily code and grind. Then, we'll meet CodePilot AI and explore automating daily dev tasks. After that, we'll go under the hood at the technical architecture. And finally, we'll wrap up with the future of software.
Section 1. The daily coding grind. The reality of modern software development. You know, there's a pretty harsh contrast in our industry. The expectation is that you get to build innovative, world-changing new features every single day. But the reality? You end up spending hours hunting down obscure bugs, reading through miles of unfamiliar legacy code, and, let's be totally honest here, writing manual documentation. I mean, nobody wakes up eager to manually format a README file, right? We're talking about untangling large and unfamiliar code bases, frantically hunting bugs right before a deployment deadline, or manually typing out documentation. Add in creating and maintaining unit tests, plus reviewing code quality. These aren't just minor annoyances. They are massive time sinks that drastically reduce your overall productivity and really drive up project maintenance costs.
Section 2. Meet CodePilot AI, your centralized AI assistant.
If the problem is a fragmented, tedious workflow, the solution has to be unified and intelligent. At its core, CodePilot AI is an AI-powered software engineering assistant designed to automate those repetitive tasks, improve code quality, and accelerate development. So the crucial point is that this is a single, centralized platform replacing multiple scattered tools. Instead of jumping between 5 different apps to analyze code, check for bugs, and write tests, you do it all from one place.
Section 3. Automating daily dev tasks. A day in the life with CodePilot. To really grasp how this automates daily coding, let's just walk through a typical developer's workday. Imagine it's morning, you've got your coffee, and you're assigned a ticket in this massive inherited codebase. Normally, super daunting. But step 1 is AI code explanation. It translates that unfamiliar source code into simple, natural language, making onboarding completely painless. Then, as you start working, the bug detection kicks in. It automatically analyzes the code for potential runtime failures and code smells, while the code review assistant suggests better practices right there on the spot.
Now fast forward to the afternoon coding session, and things get even more interactive. You have this AI chat assistant acting as a co-developer that you can just bounce ideas off of. And when you finish a feature, you hit Step 2, Unit Test Suggestions. It automatically generates test cases for your specific methods and classes. This completely removes the friction of writing unit tests, which, you guessed it, actively encourages test-driven development without the usual headache. To give you a feel for how incredibly flexible that chat assistant is, just imagine furiously typing at your keyboard. Explain this class. What does this API even do? Suggest improvements. Where is this function used? You're literally having a conversation with your project, getting immediate answers instead of manually searching through thousands of lines of code. Finally, it is the end of the day. Time for the dreaded documentation phase. But instead of typing for another hour, CodePilot automatically generates your README files. It compiles comprehensive API documentation, writes detailed function descriptions, and generates high-level project summaries. You click a few buttons, the project stays perfectly organized, and you actually get to log off on time. It's an absolute game changer for project maintainability.
Let's move to Section 4 and see how this builds out under the hood. We're looking at the technical architecture.
So how does a tool like this actually function? Underneath it all, we have this brilliant marriage of highly reliable, modern backend standards with cutting-edge AI. For the backend framework, it's running on Java and Spring Boot. Data is handled by MySQL, Spring Data JPA, and Hibernate. Security is locked down with Spring Security JWT. But the real magic happens right in the middle. The AI integration is completely powered by OpenAI Codex. Structurally, the project follows a classic, clean, layered architecture. We start at the top with the presentation layer, utilizing REST controllers. Below that is the service layer, and this is where it really gets interesting because this is where the business logic and the AI processing module live side by side. Finally, you have the repository layer handling the database persistence. The AI module sits perfectly right there in the middle, interacting directly with backend services to analyze all your project data. Let's trace a single chat prompt through this system. Imagine you just typed, "What does this API do?" Step 1, you send that request. Step 2, the Spring Boot REST controller catches it and routes it straight down to the service layer. Step 3, the AI module takes over, analyzing the specific code context and querying the codex to generate a result. And step 4, that intelligent response travels all the way back up and is returned to you. It's just a seamless, highly scalable loop. Now, building a system that reliably bridges Java Enterprise architecture with generative AI wasn't exactly a walk in the park. The development team had to overcome some serious hurdles, like designing a backend that could genuinely scale, managing really complex dependencies, and crucially, ensuring consistent API responses from the AI. Because let's face it, an AI assistant is totally useless if it gives you a different format every single time you ask a question. But conquering these exact challenges is what made the final architecture so incredibly robust.
Section 5, the future of software. Let's look at what's next for CodePilot. Looking at the roadmap ahead, we're talking about direct IDE plugins for VS Code and IntelliJ IDEA, meaning you won't even have to leave your editor. GitHub repository integration for automatic pull request analysis, security vulnerability scanning, CI/CD integration, and multi-language support. And this brilliantly illustrates how CodePilot is rapidly evolving from a standalone tool into a deeply integrated multi-language IDE companion that lives inside every step of your pipeline.
Which leaves us with this final, truly exciting thought to reflect on. If an AI assistant like CodePilot steps in and automates the routine, the documentation, the bug hunting, the basic tests, what are you going to build with your newfound time? Artificial intelligence isn't here to replace software developers, it's here to free them up for true, unhindered software innovation. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, keep building, and I will see you next time.